My name is Amanda Chavez, and I am a student at CLI. I am also an ordained minister through their Christian Leaders Alliance.
My name is Courtney Glaze.
Grew up in a trailer.
I grew up in a really rough childhood.
With a single mom who was also a meth addict.
My mother had mental illness, but as a child I didn't understand that.
He was smoking out in his car, and so he just passed it to us.
I never met my father a day in my life.
And that just started me on this path of getting high.
I was molested by someone in my previous church when I was around 4.
And it would go to the point where I would start stealing from my family members.
My mother was close with the family and all of that, so we continued to attend that church.
And I would go in and I would take $100 bills out of my grandmother's wallet.
I hated church and anything to do with church and church people.
They were blaming my uncle, who was also a drug addict.
Ironically, I did get baptized in that church at about age 15.
We're ransacking this house and we got to the master bedroom and we hit the jewelry box. And we took everything.
I was actually pregnant at 12.
And we traded it to get high.
I gave birth to my daughter at 13. If my mom would have known I was pregnant sooner, she would have made me get an abortion.
Man, I was a little thief.
Around the age of 15, I was also raped at knife point.
So when I was 17, I was in a relationship with a 26-year-old man.
I thought I was going to lose my life at that time.
He lived with 3 other men, one of whom was the local meth dealer.
And then another time I was gang raped around in that same time age frame.
And so I was pregnant at 18.
I attempted suicide.
After my daughter was born, that relationship came to an end basically when he tried to kill me.
I took a whole bottle of my mom's nerve pills.
He had me pinned down in our bedroom on the bed with his knees in my chest, and he was strangling me.
When I realized my motor skills were slowing down, I got afraid, and I started thinking, well, maybe I don't want to die.
And I thought, I'm gonna die. I remember talking to my mom, who at this point is fully saved, loves the Lord, and she was in an Assembly of God church, and they had been praying at a 7 a.m. prayer meeting every day for weeks and weeks for their children. We started going to this church, and I started having an encounter with God. I'd be in church just crying, like, why am I crying? And I remember one day they made the altar call, and it was a pretty good size church. I felt like I walked a mile down the aisle to get to where the people were standing to pray for you. And I cried the whole walk down. And I didn't know why I was crying, but I knew that something inside of me, that Jesus was real. All of my worry, all of my fear, all of the confusion, all of it disappeared in one moment. It was gone. Got baptized in this little creek in the woods. It was awesome. I still have pictures. And this was in July of 2008. And that was it. That was it. Everything in me was different. I was completely a new creation. I got connected with CLI in 2016. The end of 2022, President Ryenga on the monthly CLI announcement released the upcoming idea for Soul Centers. As soon as I watched that video, I knew this is what we need to pursue. We need to come into partnership with this, because we had already at our church been seeing the need for inner healing. After completing the classes with CLI, doing my interview with President Henry, then everything just came together. There's not a human, I'm sure, alive who does not need some form of soul healing. Now we have a 6-week Healing Hearts course that we take people through. It's we call it a restoration course.
My experience with Healing Hearts has been awesome.
Not only had I walked through it my own self,
Miss Mandy was the leader of our group, and she was so transparent about her life and the things that she's gone through, which helped us open up about our lives.
but in now ministering with so many people, seeing this need for inner healing.
Through Healing Hearts, I found out that still some of the things that had abuse and things I had gone through in my past was still affecting like my relationship with the Lord.
There's so much woundedness, so much brokenness.
Church hurts, just different family things. But through Healing Hearts, I realized, I had to forgive my mom, and then I know my daughter will fully forgive me as well. It's been so much more inner healing through forgiveness, releasing of shame. Healing Hearts has helped me to look more positive at the positive things God's done in my life, as opposed to I used to focus on the negative things.